Hi students, welcome to my class. Today I am going to explain second chapter in science is matter around us pure for class 9th. In this chapter we are discussed about the topic elements. Robert Boyle was the first scientist to use the term element in 1661. Antoine Laurent Lavoisier, he is a French chemist, was the first to establish an experimentally useful definition of an element. He defined reactions. Example hydrogen, helium, zinc, copper, etc. An element cannot be split into two or more simpler substances because it is made up of only one kind of an atom. Therefore, element can also be defined as a substance which is made up of only one kind of atoms. For instance, copper metal is made up of only one kind of atoms called copper atoms. There are 118 elements known till now, out of which 94 elements occur in nature while remaining 24 are prepared artificially. Elements can be normally divided into metals, nonmetals, and metalloids. Metals can be divided into three types, that is metals, nonmetals, and metalloids. We have 118 elements, out of which 92 elements are metals, 20 elements are nonmetals, and 6 elements are metalloids. We just classify these elements into three types, that is metals, nonmetals, and metalloids based on their physical properties. Let's we have a closer look on physical properties of metals and nonmetals. First is physical properties of metals. They have a luster, means metals are generally shining in nature. Luster is nothing but a shine. Metals are having a luster property, means all the metals, all types of metals are lusters. Next physical properties of metal is they have a silver gray or golden yellow in color, means generally metals are silver gray or golden yellow color, and metals are generally solid in nature. Heat and electricity. Look at this figure. Metal is used at the tip of the plug that is inserted into the socket, means metal conduct electricity. It's clear? Metals conduct heat and electricity. Next physical property of metal is they are ductile. Ductility nothing but metals to be drawn into a thin wires is called ductile. Gold is the most ductile metal. You will be surprised to know that a wire of about 2 km length can be drawn from 1 gram of a gold. It's clear? Ductility is nothing but a metals to be drawn into a thin wires is called ductility. Look at this figure here. Copper metal is drawn into a thin wires. This property is called a ductility. Means generally metals are ductile. Next physical property of metal is they are malleable. Malleable nothing but metals can be beaten into a thin sheet. Look at this figure. Here, golden metal is beaten into a thin sheets. Generally, metals are malleable. Next physical property of metal is they are sonorous. Sonorous is nothing but they produce a ringing sound when hit. This property allows is to be used for making bells. These all are physical properties of metals. First is they are luster, and generally metals are solid in nature. They conduct a heat and electricity. They are malleable, they are ductile, and they are sonorous. Next is physical properties of a non-metals. Generally, non-metals or exist in solid, liquid, and gaseous states also. But metals or exist only in it's clear. First physical properties of non-metal is they are non-lusters. Next physical properties of non-metal is they display variety of colors. But metal shows only a silver gray or golden yellow color, but non-metals shows varieties of colors. Non-metals are poor conductor of heat and electricity. Non-metals are non-ductile and non-malleable, means we cannot beaten them into thin sheets, or we cannot be drawn them into thin wires. Next is they are non-sonorous. Next type of element is metalloids. Some elements have a intermediate properties between those of metals and non-metals. They are called a metalloids. Means these elements shows both the characters, that is metals and non-metals. Examples for this: boron, silicon, germanium, etc. I just summarize the physical properties of metals and non-metals. First is properties, that is appearance. Metals are shining in nature, non-metals are dull in nature. Hardness, metals are very hard, non-metals are brittle. Malleability, metals are malleable, non-metals are non-malleable. Ductility, metals are ductile, non-metals are non-ductile. Heat conduction, metals are good conductor of heat, non-metals are bad conductors. Conduction of electricity, metals are good conductor of electricity, non-metals are bad conductor. State, metals are exist in solid state, non-metals are solids, liquid and gaseous. Density, metals are having a higher density, non-metals are having a lower density. Next concept is compounds. A compound is a substance but it is a mixture of two or more elements. Example, H2O. Here hydrogen is one of the element, oxygen is also another element. Here is the mixture of two or more elements with one another in a fixed proportions. Is clear? H2O, CO2, nothing but a carbon dioxide, CH4, methane, etc. I hope you all understand. Thank you.